Carolyn Dube here with this month's colorful Gelli print party. I am playing with the golden open acrylics this month, and I hadn't played with them until Mary Beth Shaw introduced them to me, and wow, was I missing out on something. These are called open acrylics because they stay open or wet for such a long time, and what a difference it has made. So I don't have to rush in the same way on the Gelli plate that I would have had to with regular acrylics. But one of the things I do is I squirt a lot of paint out, and I don't need nearly as much paint when I'm using the open acrylics. So what I'm doing is just grabbing a couple of colors right off my palette of the open acrylics, and then I'm going to blend it and spread it around with my brayer. The nice thing about the open acrylics is it doesn't require as much paint because it stays open so long. When I'm using a non-open acrylic, I use more paint so that I can get multiple pulls and all the ghosts that I like. And I will also say that the golden paints do have a lot of pigment in them, so there's an awful lot of color in these too. So I've got my Gelli plate there. I'm going to clean off my brayer. The nice part again is I don't feel such pressure to rush when I'm working with the open acrylics. Well, I've got this stencil that's designed by Maria McGuire, and it's called Doodle It Dahlia. And I'm going to position it as close to the center as I can get it. But is it going to be perfectly centered? No, because I didn't measure anything. Now I've got this scrap brayer piece that I've got over here that has things from other things on it, and I'm just going to use it for my first print. Now that first print has the most pigment in it because that's when the most paint is there. So that's going to be my brightest, boldest, most noticeable one as I pull this up. So this is a great one to layer over other colors, and I love the details in this. One of the things that I really noticed from working with the open acrylics is that I get crisper lines because I'm using less paint. Well, now I'm going to put a piece of deli paper over this, and I'm going to use my finger just to make sure it gets down everywhere. And in the wonderful fine details on the center of this, I'm just using my finger to push down on it to make sure that it has that contact, and it's going to pull up color for me. And it's going to give me a lot of color on this for a second pull. That's a lot of color. And again, I really like the crisp lines of it. So, and that I completely credit it being a very thick paint that stays open longer. But here's what I was really after. So I've pulled up the stencil, and you can see that there's definitely still a lot of pattern on there. So I'm grabbing a piece of just plain old cardstock paper from the office supply store. So what I'm going to get with this on the third pull is still going to have some great crisp lines, and there's going to be a lot of color still on that considering it is the third pull. Automatically have the darker and the lighter areas. Really happy with that pull. But you know what? There's still more. Well, I'm going to take another pull off of this, and this is going to be a really ghosty print. This is my fourth pull off of this, and it's still going to have a lot of great lines, a lot of color in it for a ghost print. Well, what have I learned while playing with the Gelli plate and the open acrylics? One, I've learned that I can relax and slow down because things don't dry nearly as quickly, which is really nice. And two, because of that, I don't think I have to use nearly as much paint, which three allows me to get some really crisp details in line. Want more Gelli plate ideas and tutorials? Well, I've got a link to all of the colorful Gelli print monthly parties, so you can check them all out if you're new to the party. And if you'd like to see what other people are making with their Gelli plate, head on over to our Google Plus community called A Colorful Playground. And if you're there, I'd love it if you'd share what you're making too. It's great to inspire and be inspired by others. Thanks for being a part of this colorful journey.